So ESPN just ranked the 50 best WNBA players this season, and it was disrespectful. It was flat out disrespectful to one Caitlin Clark. Not only was it disrespectful to her, they disrespected all the Fever players. And if you guys agree that it was disrespectful, subscribe. We are trying to get to 58.8k by the end of the day. Trying to get to 59k by tip-off of the season, which is a week from now. So if we're trying to get 200 subscribers in the next week. If we get 58.8k by the end of the day, that would be incredible. But we're going to go through all of this, and we're just going to scroll all the way down. You guys may have paused and seen all of that. Hopefully you didn't. We're going to go all the way from 50 to number 1. So 50, Benijah Laney Hamilton. I don't hate her at 50. She was in and around 50 the last year she played. That being said, she was she didn't miss a whole season. Missed the whole season. She's not going to start. I think it's tough putting a guaranteed bench player 50, but it is what it is. Naz Hillman 49. Okay. Don't hate it. Don't love it either. Do I think she's a top 50 player? Maybe. Do I project to be top 50 this season? Again, she's coming off the bench. I don't know. I'm okay with that. Nalissa Smith 48 is a... You know what? The shape Nalissa Smith looks like she's in. The shape that that she's in right now means she might end up being a top 50 player. She has never been a top 50 player in her career, and there's always been potential for that. That being said, if she reaches her potential, maybe 48. I think it's jumping the gun a little bit, but I didn't think she was terrible for the Aces. DeWanna Bonner 47. Predicting her to be the 47th best player this season is a bit wild, isn't it? You shouldn't really be using historical precedents to predict this season. But 47 is a bit crazy. Leo Phoebish 46, way too low. Way too low. Slightly reduced role. I don't think you understand. She literally leads second in the league in true shooting percentage. She doesn't need a role. She's legitimately one of the best role. She's the best role player in the league. Wheeler as a backup point guard for the Sparks of 45. A 45 is kind of crazy, especially when it's one spot. Wheeler is not as good as Phoebe. Is not going to be as important as Phoebe. And Shakira Austin at 44. Really, that feels low when you got Wheeler at 45. But again, we'll see how it goes. Dejanay Carrington, she's not going to play this season. She's still in a boot. She might not play until what? She might not play this season until August, September, post World Cup break. That's there or thereabouts. What she's going to be when she's back. Brittany Griner 42. I don't know how many minutes she's going to play. I think it's a bit high. Jordan Canada 41. Yeah, I think this is very high. Have they put 6 Atlanta Dream players in the top 50? Tip Hayes, Golden State Valks. She is getting older. Don't hate it. Ezzie Magbuer 39. She's injured most of the year. Kayla Thornton 38. I think last season might have been a fluke. The team literally got no better when she left. Or no worse when she left. Azare 37. Okay. I'm actually alright with Azare 37. Kiki Iriafen 36. This feels low. This feels low for an all-star going into year 2. Unless you're saying, okay, the Mystics are going to stink. Which I don't think that's what they're saying. 36 feels very low. Veronica Burton 35. That feels really low. That feels real low. I thought she was snubbed for an all-W spot. I thought that second team spot between her and Paige, I thought Burton should have got it, to be honest. In Is Layla Lacan not on this list and Aaliyah Edwards not on this list? Or am I going crazy? Like Camila Cardoso, 34. I'm going to be real here. Camila Cardoso has looked genuinely garbage in preseason. It looked genuinely garbage. I hope she picks it up, but she looked real bad. Alana Smith, 33. Yeah, again, it feels a little bit low, but I really don't know about that one. Rakia Jackson, 32. Predicting on the season, Rakia's going to take a lot of shots for Chicago. I'm okay with that, to be honest. But like we're going to see 5 Chicago Sky players in the top 50 and no Fever players. Or in 3 Fever players. Marina Mabry, you know what? Marina Mabry is going to get a lot of shots up for Toronto. So maybe predicting her at 31 makes sense. Bree Jones at 30. No one knows when she's back. No one has a clue when she's going to come back. So it's a bit of a tough one. 29 feels real low for Sonia Citron. She was an all-star last year as a rookie, averaging 15 a game, and now has a bigger role with no Brittany Sykes. That feels way too low. No, not lower than Sykes. Not lower than Sykes. It is, yeah, it is what it is there. Not lower than Jewel Lloyd. Is Kennedy Carter going to be higher than this? Is Kennedy Carter going to be higher than this? I mean this. Kennedy Carter has to be higher than Jewel Lloyd. Ariel Atkins for the Sparks. So the Sparks of 4, they're starting 5. Wait, the Sparks of 4, they're starting 5, ranked 26 and higher. Ariel Atkins at 26, above Sonia Citron. I don't know. Courtney Williams, 25. Gabby Williams, 24. Fair enough. I think Gabby Williams will have a bit better of a season than that, though, to be fair. Kayla McBride, 23. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Angel Reese, 22. All right. That is in and around. I think this might be a bit low for Angel, but like within a couple of spots. I think within a couple of spots, Angel Reese, 22. I need to see who's a higher than her. Angel Reese, again, I'm going to be real here. What Angel Reese has done to Diarra Hamby whenever they face off against each other might violate the Geneva Convention. I mean this. If you ever watch Angel Reese's averages against the Sparks for her career are something like 18 and 19. It's something stupid like that. And sorry, I think it's 18 and 17, not 18 and 19. Jesus. I think she's only had 120 board game. I think it's like 18 and 17. I think she's lost to the Sparks once in her career. She hit a 3 against the Sparks and had 24 on a bad wrist as a rookie. Like, there is no world in which Diarra Hamby is going to be having more impactful season. And again, Diarra Hamby's the most like empty stats player in the world. You might as well call her Erica Hamby because the defense is definitely optional with her. Arike at 20. Okay. I see you. Arike at 20. Arike at 20. Skylar Diggins, 19. Okay. Fair enough. Jonquil, 18. She's dropped a lot. She was like 6 last year. She's got hurt. She was like near the top of the MVP race and then got hurt. Chelsea Gray, 17. I mean, she was pretty shit last year. And she was pretty bad for Team USA. I think this might be a bit high. I wouldn't put her above Angel. NECA, 16. That again feels low. Satu, 15. After the super concussion and becoming the 4th option on a team. I don't predict Satu to average more than like 13 or 14 a game. How bad did she end the season? She was averaging like 18. She was averaging like 21 points a game at one stage. But that is so low, Aaliyah Boston. That is so low. That is so low for Aaliyah Boston. Oh my God. 14. How exactly is a player who came off a season where she got robbed of unrivaled MVP is in the shape of her life and is now shooting the 3 ball off the back of being voted as one of the top 10 players in the WNBA last year, gone down 4 spots as in a prediction. Ryan Howard, 13. The idea of Ryan Howard is about the player of Ryan Howard. Kalia Copper, 12. She was terrible last year. She was terrible. She was the offensive centerpiece for the Mercury. What are we talking about? She was awful last season. She got registered a 30-point game in a meaningless game for the final while 3-0 down. So, Kelsey Mitchell, off the back of a all-WNBA first team season, somehow goes down to 11. This is genuinely one of the most disrespectful things we have seen. This is one of the most disrespectful things that we have seen. Kelsey Mitchell, after an all WNBA first team. And by the way, you can see here, Rookie of the Year, all WNBA first team 2024, who they have at number 10. So a one season wonder Alicia Gray is above Kelsey Mitchell. Like, what are we doing? One season wonder Alicia Gray, because what? She finished 1 spot above Kelsey Mitchell in MVP voting last year? Is how many spots? Probably 2 or 3 ahead. So, Caitlin Clark at 10. Now, this is one of the most disrespectful rankings I've ever seen, because Sabrina Ionescu is ahead of Caitlin Clark. Sabrina Ionescu stunk it up in the playoffs last year. So while Caitlin was injured, fair enough, Sabrina stunk it up in the playoffs last year, was injured the entire offseason. This is predicting for this year. It says here, and was just started when she named Rookie of the Year. Yada. Injuries limited her to 13 games. She was still named an All-Star. So she's down at 10 because she got injured. What about player? But like, it's very clear on this list that currently being injured is irrelevant. As Bree Jones is currently in and around where she should be, who's currently injured. No one knows when she's coming back. Dejanay Carrington might not be back this season and is way higher than she should be at 43. So it's very clear from ESPN that currently being injured is not being taken into account. That currently suffering a bad injury is not being taken into account while ranking these players. But getting injured a year ago is good enough to drop you 6 spots on this list. She was ranked 4 last year. So, a player with double ankle surgery who didn't play, I can guarantee you, is probably still top 2 in Nafisa Collier. Who, by the way, again, was number 3 last year on this list. They had Stewie ahead of her. She was number 3 last year on the list, and since then has had double ankle surgery and hasn't ran in 7 months. But Caitlin Clark, because she got injured a year ago, is now down at number 10. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, ESPN. Make it make sense. Like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, like, all of them have been snubbed. Like, you know when people are like, oh, you know, the Indiana Fever have 3 of the top 10 players, they should be doing well. Ironically, according to freaking ESPN, the Indiana Fever barely have 1 top 10 player. They're this close to not having any top 10 players. They barely have a top 10 player. Based on ESPN, I'm sorry, only 3 top 50 players. Whereas compared to 6 for Atlanta. And 7 for New York, is it? Is New York 7 or 6? I think it's 6. 6 top 10, top 50 players for New York. 5 for the Aces. Or 6 for the Aces. No, actually, they didn't put Kennedy Carter on it. They didn't put Kennedy Carter. 5 for the Aces. The Storm have 4. The fucking Wings have 3. The Tempo have 3, don't they? The Mystics, do the Mystics have 4? No, the Mystics have 3. We're in the category of the damn Mystics. Kelsey Plum over Caitlin Clark. They were last place before Julie Allemon showed up. She played every game last year pretty much, and her team was in last place for a large chunk of the season. Kelsey Plum over Kelsey Mitchell. I think in a vacuum, you could argue Kelsey Plum's a better player than Kelsey Mitchell. But like Kelsey Plum doesn't even have a point guard on her team. Erica Wheeler? Like, who's not even a start? I have no idea. I just don't know. Paige at 8. I actually don't mind Paige at 8. Paige should be around 8. Paige 6 through 8. I'm actually okay with that. Paige should probably be somewhere between. She should be fighting for an all-W first team spot. She should be if she stays healthy, a lock for an all-W team spot, should be fighting for first team. So her ability to become a top 5 player will determine how she can elevate a Dallas Wings team. So Paige Bueckers, if she's able to elevate to get a Dallas Wings team, if she's able to get Dallas Wings team to the playoffs, she's a top 5 player. But Caitlin Clark, who was the reason why, the Fever got to where they were in the first place, and their record without Caitlin Clark wouldn't have made the playoffs last year. Their record with Caitlin Clark was the 3rd seed. She's 10. Alicia Gray at 7's wild. Like, she had a great year. Still wild. Sabrina is the most overrated player in women's basketball history. Despite foot, toe, and neck injuries that lingered all season, forced to do 6 games. She equaled her career high scoring average posted during the 24-24 championship run. She was literally one of the worst players she had 0 points in the 4th quarter of the playoffs. Like, Sabrina Ionescu is like, she is the most, I hate saying this because Sabrina's good. She is the most overrated player in the WNBA. She is the most overrated player. She had 0 4th quarter points. She averaged she had 6. So she had 0 in the 4th quarter of game 3 in the playoffs. She had 16 points on 18 shots in game 1. And this is a scorer. This is a person who is a scorer. She then had 9 points on 13 shots in game 2. And then 0 in the 4th quarter of a game 3 that she did play well in up to the 4th. And she ended the season on a streak of, and this is a player, by the way, who is a scorer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 straight games. 18 points or under. She had 11 straight game streak to end the season. Which, by the way, coincided with the Liberty losing 5 of them. They went 6-5 to end the season. And Sabrina averaged under 15 points per game. Jackie Young, 5. Don't agree. Just don't agree. I think with Kennedy, especially as a prediction coming into this season, I just don't agree. And Breanna Stewart, 4. Behind Alyssa Thomas. I think this is one of the opposite ones. Like, Breanna Stewart learned how to shoot again. Like, she's figured out how to shoot. I'd put her at 2. Especially because Fee's just had double ankle surgery. Nafisa Collier at 3. There's no logic for Fee at 3. There's actually no logic for Fee at 3. Because if you are assuming she's healthy, she's 2. If you are assuming, like most people should, that a person who's just had surgeries to both their ankles and has not walked or has not ran in 7 months is probably not going to have the greatest season in the world, you're looking at her closer to 8 to 10. There's no logic for her at 3. Either she's healthy and good to go and you put her at 2, or she's not healthy and you don't put her anywhere near 3. Because a not healthy Nafisa Collier is not as good as definitely a healthy Caitlin Clark. I'll say that much. Alyssa Thomas is 2. Just a fucking bulldozer. Apparently the referees are going to be a little bit more, are going to call a little bit more, which means she might struggle. And age at 1, I don't really care. But if we're being real here, the Indiana Fever having 3 players in the top 50 is madness. And in my opinion, especially like Aaliyah below Ryan Howard is fucking wild. Like, they predict the Dream. Like, based on these rankings, the Dream should be the best team in the league. And they're not going to be.